if China becomes the world's global superpower, everybody wants to go with China. You and I have actually traveled the world, and we know you, being a Caucasian male, you know exactly what it's like to step into a place and have everybody want your attention. Because once they hear your American accent, they think to themselves, money, power, connections. I mean, it's amazing how much influence outside of the United States being an American gets you. I'm an ambiguously brown guy with big hair. As soon as I pull out that blue passport that says United States on it, I mean, parts of the world open up to us that we've taken for granted because we've never remembered. We've never experienced a life where that little blue passport doesn't get you special perks and attention, right? Everybody wants to be friends with an American because they think America is the land of opportunity. It's the land of freedom. Most countries in the world do not know freedom and do not know opportunity. So when they meet us, we're their ticket. That's how everybody in the world, that's how the vast majority of the world sees Americans. Okay. Their ticket to opportunity, their potential ticket to freedom. If we're no longer the top of the food chain, then we lose that appeal. Because now all of a sudden, you need to have a Chinese passport to have the ticket. You need to have a Chinese identity or a Chinese genetic background for people to take and pay attention to you, right? And that's going to be hard. That's going to be a big, drastic difference for the generation that is our children, because like they're going to know what it's like to have been 13, 14, 15 years old, an American, but then be 23, 24, 25, young professionals starting their careers and be second-class citizens, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? So our plan is that if that's the direction that it goes, we're leaving the United States. There is no advantage to being an American inside the United States if you can basically rebuild your identity somewhere else.
Interesting.
So we would actually immigrate, most likely to Europe, because Europe will still be pro-US, right? If anything, Europe and the United States are going to be fighting a Chinese hegemony for probably the next 30 years. So go to Europe and essentially establish ourselves as dual-docked citizens. Spend 5 years in Portugal, 5 years in Spain, potentially get into Italy, spend 3 to 5 years building residency somewhere, working towards an EU citizenship, because then you'd become dual-docked EU and US. Whenever you're on the losing side of a battle, which nobody likes to talk about, but whenever you're on the losing side of a battle, sometimes the next best thing to do is to blend in and look like a non-threat. If you have a Spanish passport or a Portuguese passport, do you feel intimidated by Spain or Portugal?
No.
So neither will a Chinese. But people, if you're in second place, people feel intimidated by you. So if I had to pick how I was going to travel the world when my children are 25 and I'm in my 60s, I'd rather travel the world under an EU passport as a dual-docked citizen than travel under a US passport and potentially draw the attention and the ire of the world's superpower.
Interesting. I love that train of thought. I am surprised to hear you say Europe, considering it's, everything that's going on over there right now.
Oh, yeah.
I've thought about this too. My place, I believe, would be Paraguay.
Yes. So Latin America and the Bahamas too. Well, the Bahamas are part of Latin America. You're thinking on the exact same lines. The main difference, the main reason I wouldn't go south is because first world electricity, first world internet, first world medicine, even if it's on the decline, it'll take probably 2 generations before it fully declines in a first world country. Mm-hmm. So if you're in Italy, Spain, Germany, Poland, the UK, it's going to take 30 to 50 years before that infrastructure actually falls into such disarray because of a lack of economic stimulation. We're talking end times, right? If the world actually starts to decline because the new superpower basically imposes their will on the whole world, if that actually were to happen, it would take decades before those institutions degraded to a place where we would feel it in our everyday lives. But in a place like Paraguay, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Chile, that same degradation would probably happen in about 15 to 20 years. So now you or I might be a 75-year-old man living on a healthcare system in a country that's falling apart. If we're in Latin America. If we're in Europe, we're a 75 or 80-year-old man in a country that still has 25 years more ahead of it of working healthcare system. If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip or here to see the full podcast episode.
Freedom! So fresh, so new. Freedom!